About a year and a half ago, I was in Australia on an island with 120 world leaders. I was asked, the year before that, it was the Director of National Intelligence who had just retired who briefed them, and 2 years before it was Bill and Hillary Clinton. That year it was my turn in 2013, and I presented all this material to all these people in the world. So I continue to do this, and then my wife and I will send out packages of disclosure stuff to colonels and people in Switzerland and people at Davos, and it's this whole networking thing. By the way, that's where your tuition is going, because these things are very expensive to do and we have no funding and no staff. Emily and I, just with some volunteers, do all this. Now, one of the things that you have to understand about these leaders in the world is that most of them are just agog when they hear about it. They go, oh, well, I'm Minister of Defense of Australia or whatever, and I've never heard of any of this going on at Pine Gap. And they're not lying. I said, well, no, you wouldn't. So it's sort of an unenviable thing to have to do, because I'm really the deliverer of very bad news. To have to show it to someone that powerful and say, by the way, here's what you don't know that you're being lied to about. So we continue to do that, but the big action, and that's sort of a service to people in government, because I view the good people, and there are good people in government, as victims of this secrecy, just like we are. Where they failed is in their constitutional duty to take on that machine. And that's where the courage comes in. And I think that's why we're going to have to view ourselves as the leadership, all of us in this room and the people out in the public who support disclosure. And the next wave of disclosure are going to be two things we're going to talk about after our break in a moment. One is a mass defection program. What am I talking about? We've got to network, tell everyone we know, and find another wave of people who are currently deeply involved in these covert programs who will approach me, and we will massively defect at once. Because even what I'm sitting on, there's probably 10 or 15% that's out in the public domain. Some people I've interviewed have asked me not to release it till they're dead.
Fantastic.
Okay, so that's the next phase. The other is mass contact. We have got to create teams all over the world that are skilled in the art of the CE5, Close Encounters of Fifth Kind protocols, who go out on a regular basis and create in consciousness, but also in action, the ability for mass contact to happen that's peaceful before this false flag creates the overlay. So it's a race. We're a race against the clock. And so that's how it has to happen. And that's something that you don't have to sit on your hands waiting for the president to do, or for that matter, me to do. That's something all of us can do.
We tried our own.
Yeah, and people who've done the CE5 initiative, even using the app, we get reports every day on our website of amazing contact and things that they've had. So if more and more people start doing that, the ETs are going to get the message that not everyone on planet Earth is sleepwalking. See, they need to see that. Now, people have asked me, Larry King asked me, why don't they just land on the White House lawn or at a Super Bowl game? I said, yeah, they could do that. But all that would do would trigger mass panic, because these folks in the intelligence community would say, we're being invaded. We need to fight them. They know not to hit that tripwire. They want us to invite them and create the correct atmosphere of universal peace in consciousness and action to make contact. Then they'll come. We build it, they'll come. They're here anyway, even when they're invisible, because most of the time they're shifted beyond the speed of light and you can't see them anyway. This is what I'm going to talk about in LA at this workshop I'm doing in Glendale. But I think that's why, if we understand how powerful we each are, not only to find more and more mass defecting witnesses inside Booz Allen Hamilton, and inside the CIA and Lockheed Martin and Skunk Works and Dugway Proving Grounds and Nellis Air Force Base and Pine Gap. And I have a whole list of corporations and facilities that I've updated of where these operations are currently going on. And we need to have people in those systems come out. Not trickle out one at a time with no credibility, but en masse, just like the 01 event, but on a larger and deeper level. So that's what I'm calling for now. And then the other is all of us becoming ambassadors to the universe. as citizen ambassadors. Peaceful contact. And that's something every single person can do in their own community. And if you do it and you practice it and learn what the protocols are, you'll be quite stunned at what will happen. It's beautiful.